3 to 6 months of expenses. That is the advice. That is what every personal finance article, every bank, and every financial influencer tells you to save as your emergency fund. It is not wrong, it is just useless, because 3 to 6 months of whose expenses, calculated how, kept where, and what happens when you get that number wrong and an actual emergency arrives. Today I am going to show you the exact calculation, the 3-tier framework, and the one number most people never calculate that changes everything. Everything in this video is based on one principle. Vague advice produces vague results. Specific math produces specific outcomes. 3 to 6 months is vague. The calculation I am going to show you produces a precise number, your number, based on your actual situation. That is what this channel exists to do. Let us get into the math. Here is why the standard advice fails. 3 to 6 months of expenses covers a range of almost double. If your monthly expenses are $3,000, 3 months means $9,000. 6 months means $18,000. That is a $9,000 gap in advice, and it gets worse. Most people calculate their monthly expenses wrong. They include everything: dining out, subscriptions, entertainment, holidays. None of that belongs in an emergency fund calculation. An emergency fund exists for one purpose: to cover the cost of your life continuing to function if your income disappears. That means essential expenses only: rent or mortgage, utilities, food, transport to work, insurance, minimum debt payments. That is it. Most people who follow the standard advice are still underfunded. Here is why. The framework has 3 tiers. Tier 1 is your minimum fund. This is your absolute floor, the amount that keeps your life running for 1 month if everything stops. Calculate it like this. Add up your essential monthly expenses only: rent or mortgage, utilities, basic food, transport, insurance, minimum debt payments. For most people, this number is between $1,000 and $2,000 per month. That is your minimum fund. 1 month of essential expenses, cash, in a separate account. Untouched. If you have nothing saved right now, this is your first target. Tier 2 is your target fund, 3 months of essential expenses. Not 3 months of everything you spend, 3 months of what you need to survive. If your essential monthly expenses are $1,500, your target fund is $4,500. This is where most people should aim to be. It covers the most common emergencies: job loss, medical bills, car repairs, appliance failures. 3 months of essential expenses. This is the number. Tier 3 is your maximum fund, 6 months of essential expenses. This applies to specific situations. You are self-employed or freelance. Your income is variable or seasonal. You work in a volatile industry. You have dependents who rely entirely on your income. If any of those apply, your target is 6 months of essential expenses, not 3. For everyone else, 3 months is your number, not 6. Holding more than necessary in cash is its own financial mistake. Now, where to keep it? This is the mistake that costs people hundreds of dollars per year without them ever noticing. A standard savings account at a high street bank pays approximately 0.5% interest annually on a $10,000 emergency fund that is $50 per year. A high-yield savings account, available at almost every online bank, currently pays between 4 and 5% annually on the same $10,000 that is $450 per year. $400 of passive income on money that was just sitting there doing nothing. Keep your emergency fund in a high-yield savings account, not your current account, not a standard savings account, a high-yield savings account. Let me show you the exact calculation. Step 1. List your essential monthly expenses only, nothing discretionary. This framework is the kind of specific calculation this channel builds every week. If precise financial math is useful to you, subscribe now so you do not miss the next breakdown. Step 2. Add them up. That total is your monthly essential expense number. Step 3. Multiply by 3. That is your target fund. Step 4. Open a high-yield savings account if you do not have one. Transfer your emergency fund there. Done. Let me show you 3 examples. Person 1 has essential monthly expenses of $1,200, target fund $3,600. Person 2 has essential monthly expenses of $2,000, target fund $6,000. Person 3 is self-employed, essential expenses of $3,000 per month, target fund $9,000. 6 months, not three people. 3 different correct answers, all derived from the same framework. Kwame is 26, salaried employee, stable income, essential expenses of $1,400 a month. His target fund is $4,200, 3 months, held in a high-yield savings account earning 4%. His framework answer is clear. He does not need 6 months. Priya is 31. Freelance designer. Income varies by 40% between her best and worst months. Her target fund is 6 months of essential expenses regardless of her monthly total. Variable income is the trigger for Tier 3. She needs the buffer. Marcus is 28, single parent. One income supports 2 people. Essential expenses of $2,200 a month. His target is 6 months, $13,200. Single income households face double the risk of dual income households. The maximum fund applies. Same principle, 3 different situations, 3 different correct numbers. The framework tells you which tier applies to your situation. The calculation tells you the exact amount. The high-yield savings account tells you where to keep it. I know what some of you are thinking. I cannot save $4,000 right now. This feels impossible. That is a valid feeling. And the answer is not save $4,000 immediately. The answer is build it in tiers. Start with 1 month. 1 month of essential expenses. That is Tier 1, your minimum fund. Once that is saved, you have eliminated the most catastrophic financial risk. 1 month of breathing room, then work toward 3 months, 1 transfer at a time. The emergency fund is not an emergency itself. It is built slowly, consistently, like everything else on this channel. Minimum fund first, target fund second, maximum fund only if your situation requires it. 1 tier at a time. Let me bring this back to the one thing I want you to leave with today. The 3 to 6 months advice is not wrong. It is just incomplete. Your emergency fund amount is not a range. It is a specific number, calculated from your essential monthly expenses, multiplied by 3 if you are salaried, by 6 if you are self-employed, variable income, or a single income household. Held in a high-yield savings account earning 4 to 5%. Not your current account, not a standard savings account. That is the framework, that is the calculation, that is your number. This is the 3rd piece of the foundation. Video 1, debt versus investing. Video 2, index funds. Video 3, compound interest. Video 4, emergency fund. The foundation is almost complete. Next video, I am breaking down the 4% rule that the FIRE movement built its entire retirement strategy on, and why the math behind it is far more fragile than anyone tells you. If the calculation today was useful, subscribe. 1 video per week, always data, never anything to buy. I will see you in the next one.